big or going home. I'm focused on my plan, in my mind in the zone. I wanna be one of the greatest that ever made it, one of the best that did it, coming with it. Understand this is all I think about, all I ever wanna do, all I ever worked for. So ain't no giving up, and up to the limit, just to win it is a must. Now you see what it takes to be on top, don't stop. Now you see what it takes to be on top, don't stop.
Bryant for the win.
He is a remarkable talent. I mean, he got into one of those zones, and I've said it many times. It's all right for regular players to get in a zone, but when you're the best player and you get in a zone, that shouldn't be fair. And it wasn't fair.
Access, watch the progress, can't be done, man, I'm the champion.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Worldwide Laker Talk. It's been a minute since we've been on. We've been off because, it was the off season and it was a short off season. So now we back. We got B-Red. We got Quincy, a.k.a. Travis Knight today. He always giving us those unsung Lakers shout outs. So we're going to get right into the show. We're not going to spend a whole bunch of time on this because it's not a lot to really talk about because the season hasn't started yet. But I want to talk about our free agent acquisitions, our whatever trades we made in all season, because I don't think we got to talk about all of those. And then I want to talk about what we saw in the preseason. Like, we know preseason isn't the real thing. We know preseason isn't an indicator, but I think it can be a precursor to some things that will be to come for us. So B-Red, let's start with you. What do you think of the offseason acquisitions?
I'm excited about where they added at. I figure like they added things that, like, more smart players. Like last year, we were talking about how their players are leaders, naturally on the court. Marc Gasol brings a lot of that, defensively. He is very sound defensively. He's a great passer. I think we were watching one of the preseason games, and Q said in the chat, it's like having a third point guard out there, or second point guard with Marc Gasol out there, because he makes some of like really good passes, and he's helping other players that you see like THT just cut backdoor and more find you at the high post. Taking Harrell away from the Clippers was a two-way move. We took away a player from one of our rivals and added him to our team. That's great. And Dennis Schroeder, I mean, adding him, we lost Rondo, but having Schroeder who can, give us some buckets and take some of the reins away from LeBron is great. Well, so I'm excited about those main three players: Gasol, Harrell, and Schroeder.
All right, Quincy, tell me what you feel about the offseason acquisitions and what do you see?
Same as what B said. I thought Marc Gasol was a good move. Although I'm not gonna lie, I do kind of.
Harrell away from the Clippers was a two-way move.
Sorry, go ahead.
I wish we had.
That's great. And Dennis Schroeder, I mean, adding him.
Yeah, that's my phone. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I wish we had kept. I wish we could have kept Dwight Argivell, just because.
Yeah.
That have a natural shot blocker around the basket. Whereas Mark is a pretty good defender himself. I think he was like something like number 3 defensive rating, and then that game where he held Embiid to 0 points, which is like crazy and unheard of. So, he still, and then he's very smart. Although he's not as athletic as Dwight or JaVale, his defensive basketball IQ is higher than those two guys. And then is what Mark, like Brandon had alluded to, is what he bring on the offense that Dwight and JaVale don't bring, because what teams did to us last year, and we said it almost every game, they pretty much packed the paint. They packed the paint, and they pretty much dared, our outside shooters to beat them. Whereas with Marc Gasol, you basically pulling the big man outside the paint, which give AD and LeBron, room to operate, because as we saw, if you collapse on LeBron with the big, you leave a Marc Gasol wide open at the 3-point line, and he showed he can make that three. Dennis Schroeder, it was a good pickup. I'm curious though, how he's gonna work with LeBron when he's in the game with LeBron, because LeBron is the point guard, and that's kind of the only true point guard that really worked with LeBron was Kyrie, because Kyrie is a natural scorer.
Yeah.
So if Schroeder could get used to like really playing off the ball, which I think he showed some of that last year with CP3, I think he would be fine. And then Montrezl, I don't think nobody saw Montrezl Harrell coming over. That shit, they from what I read is that the Clippers was lowballing him, and they was looking to do a sign and trade deal with other squads. And the whole Rich Paul Laker connection is like, look, they fucking around. You want Trez, and that's kind of how
Yeah.
how it came. That's kind of how it came about, because Montrezl didn't really want to leave LA, and then because he's with Clutch, we already seen the chemistry between him and AD, their friendship off the court. So
Right.
that was surprising, but I know a lot of people were concerned that because what Jokic did, Montrezl, because of that Denver series, he got a reputation of being a bad defender. I don't think he's a bad defender at all. I just think that's a bad matchup for him. When you put somebody 6'8", 6'7" on a skill 7-footer, you're gonna get punished.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just what happens. And then what ends up happening is you have to double team Jokic. So now you double teaming the best passer on the team.
Yeah.
And that's what the Clippers put themselves into.
Right.
We won't have that issue because when we go down to small ball, AD is our 5.
Right.
And so whether we big or small, Montrezl, he get to stay at the 4. He don't ever have to come to the 5 unless we go against a Golden State and they got Draymond at the 5. Then we can play him at the 5. But I'm quite sure, being the defensive nerd that Vogel is, they already know. Look, when we go down the size, it won't ever be Montrezl at the 5 against Jokic, because that's going to be AD assignment. Because we're probably more likely it's going to be, Marc Gasol and then AD. So
Right.
we won't ever have Montrezl. But I mean, when you talk about, we got the 6th man of the year, and then the runner up. I mean, both of those guys, I think they both averaged 18 a game last year. So we have a whole lot more firepower than we did last year. And I mean, like I said, we might not make shot blocking records like we did last year, because I think they got a record of like Lakers shot blocks in the game. But I think what it does give you is it gives you a pretty good solid defensive 5 and Marc Gasol, and you still got to deal with AD coming from the weak side. So
I think for me, I agree with everything that you guys said. I think the thing I like about the acquisitions is I'm okay with giving up shot blocking for the things that we are gaining in basketball IQ and the things we are gaining in offensive scoring and offensive firepower, right? Because say, for example, just trying to look at it mathematically, if shot blocking, they stopped 6 shots. Let's say they average stopping 6 shots a game with the shot blocking or something like that. You're probably going to get 6 to 10 points from Gasol and Trez. You know what I mean? So just looking from an analytic perspective, I feel like what we miss in the shot block, we can kind of pick up offensively. And also, excuse me, like you said, Q, Gasol got a high defensive IQ. So it's not that's not his way of playing defense, is not with shot blocking, but he's still a decent defender. Because I was talking to my boy Dominique last night, and he was saying, he was like, well, I would have wanted to keep, he said I would have rather had Ibaka or keep Dwight. He said because Gasol is just slow. But Gasol always been slow. You know what I mean? Like Gasol always, like,
Right.
he's never been I said, but he knows how to use his body and he knows how to use his skill set.
yeah, just to piggyback on that point is, although he's slow, Toronto was number 2 in transition points last year. So he might be slow, but it doesn't slow up his team. And that goes back to how he knows the game.
Oh, this is a good question. I was going to get to this, but let's get to it now since Joe Torres asked it. Who do you guys think should be the starting five? I don't know what Vogel is going to do.
Who I think and what they going to do is two different things.
All right, so tell me what you think and tell me what you think they're going to do.
I think it's going to be Schroeder.
Uh-huh.
I think it's going to be Schroeder, KCP or Wes Matthews, LeBron, AD, and Marc Gasol. But I think it's going to be. I think he's going to start Schroeder at the point because they gotta, satisfy him.
So what you think they should do? What would be your starting lineup? What would be Coach Q's starting lineup?
My starting lineup would be KCP, Wes Matthews, LeBron, AD, and Gasol. I think Schroeder and Montrezl could give us what Lou Williams and Montrezl gave us. I like them coming off the bench with that firepower, with THT, with Kuz. Like when you put that bench out there, like
against the second unit,
I think, and then you got KCP and Wes Matthews. KCP normally guard the small guards. Wes Matthews guard the big guards. And LeBron is your point guard technically out there. But I get the theory because I heard Stu Lance kind of sold me on it. He was like, what teams was doing to LeBron is they was pressing him early, wearing him down. So come fourth quarter, he was so busy bringing up the ball in the first half of the game, he would get worn out sometimes. So starting Schroeder kind of allows LeBron to rest off the ball earlier on in the game. So
okay,
I get the theory.
All right, so Brandon, who do you think? Same thing, same question. Who do you think will be the starting five, and who would you like to be the starting five?
Okay, I'm gonna flip it around. I'm gonna go with who I would like first, and then I'll go who I think they're gonna do second. So who I would like, right? I would want. We already know AD, LeBron, and Mark they're in the starting lineup. We can just put them three in there. Now the two that I would want to have in there is Kuz and I guess Schroeder as well. But the reason why I want Kuz in the starting lineup because with AD, LeBron, and Marc Gasol playing, it kind of puts Kuz. I think Kuz plays best at the three position. So if LeBron's running point, it gives Kuz the chance to kind of run that natural, three small ball type and worry about more or less just cutting backdoors, things of that nature, and that helps him score more and rely on banging with the big forward body in the paint trying to get rebounds, and that'll be taken care of with Gasol. I don't think Kuz will be in starting lineup though. I think it's still going to be like I think Q said KCP or Wes Matthews and Schroeder, but I think Q alluded to this earlier, saying he doesn't know how Schroeder will mesh with LeBron right away because he's not a natural scorer. He did some of that with CP3 last year, but I'm curious to see how he's going to mesh with LeBron. And we got to take into account too, LeBron won't be playing that many minutes early in the season.
Uh-huh.
So I think LeBron will be starting obviously, right? But LeBron probably take like most second quarters off and most third quarters off a lot. So that'll give other players a chance to like get some burn. The THCs of the world and stuff. So with LeBron, I think LeBron will probably only play like maybe 28 minutes a game the first half of the season. So I think that'll give other players a chance to kind of, even though they're not starting, they'll get starters minutes. If
right.
You get what I'm saying.
Yeah. I think for me too, the biggest thing is now we have other players who can create their own shot. We have other players who can initiate the offense because that was one of the biggest issues we had. Even though Rondo came through and as playoff though, during a regular season, we had a really big problem with somebody besides LeBron. Like soon as LeBron sat down, as soon as LeBron sat down, our offense like collapsed. It fell apart until sometimes Caruso would come in and be able to right the ship. But even then, so I think one thing we have a lot more depth this year. So what we lost in size, I think we gained in depth and scoring. We have a lot more bench. We got a lot more punch off the bench, no matter who we, like you said, no matter what the lineup.
They could go 11 deep.
Yeah. Yeah, like and be good to go. You know what I mean? So now that we talked about the starting lineups, before I get to the bench, because before I get to the bench, we got to talk about this. What we've seen in the what we've seen in preseason. What have you guys seen in preseason that gives you confidence that we'll be able to repeat? That's the question. That's the question.
It goes right back to what Q just said. They can probably go 11 deep, because I mean, I know the preseason isn't that much of an indicator, but they were 4-0 in the preseason, and LeBron and AD didn't play in the first two games, and then I think AD played 3 quarters last night, and we won those games. We were trailing by like 20 points against Phoenix last night, but our bench is it's deeper than it was last year. So we had players like THT and Quinn Cook, who probably won't get any that much burn in the regular season and in the playoffs, come back and lead us back to victory over the second unit of the Phoenix Suns. We didn't have that same luxury last year where our bench was just winning games like that, and we were seeing potential off our bench where players were dropping 28 points. I think THT's preseason career high was 28 or 26 or something like that. Like, I mean, and he's like our 11th player right now. You know what I mean? He's probably going to get minutes. So you just see that depth. And like we were talking about before the show, game, you said like when a team wins a championship, everybody gets that swag. You can see it. Like THT, Caruso, Quinn Cook, even though he was already a champion, they have that swag. Like, we champs. Even though they didn't play that much in last year, they have that same, like, when they get on the court, they playing like we the champs. So you see that experience and that luxury come in that we didn't have last year.
Yeah, because I saw like I was telling you, I see that swag that once Kobe and Shaq won that first championship, that team that next year, our role players who were on that championship team were so much better that next year. And that was it when we had that record, the 15-1 year, our role players, because Kobe and Shaq gonna be Kobe and Shaq. But after that 2001 team, bro, Fox, Ori, Fish, they all had this air, this confidence in they shot. They were knocking down stuff like
don't forget Lindsey Hunter.
Yeah. Like, so we came back with like a swag that we didn't have. And I feel like I see that in Caruso. I see that confidence.
Thought he can guard AI.
Yeah. There's a different kind of confidence that comes with that championship of going through that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got Caruso, you got KCP, who I don't think KCP is going to have that weird regular season slump that he's been having all these other years, because he got a different confidence now, right? Like, I think he feels like even if I'm having a slump, I'm going to shoot myself out of it because I'm that good. But I don't think you get that without actually winning the championship. I even saw it last night with some of the play. Look, as good as AD is, there's something about when his confidence get boosted, he becomes unstoppable. There's something about like when Marcus Morris go in there and be like, you the best motherfucker on the planet, can't nobody touch you. And he goes in there and destroys Jokic. You know what I mean? Like, so now he's kind of getting that kind of confidence boost just from himself of being like, I'm a champ. Like, I did it.
You can tell he's definitely playing with the monkey off his back. Now he's playing. It's like when you get that first one, now he's like, okay, now it's time to build this legacy. He didn't set the foundation for it, and then he got his contract. Now at this point, it's you can just tell when a player is playing happy.
Yep.
And he last night was crazy. I was like, this dude was like a fucking 6'6" guard out there with that shit he was doing. It's crazy.
Yeah. And let's talk about let's talk about what we've done financially in this off season. Let's talk about what we've done as far as securing our core and what could be our young core coming up after LeBron leaves, our core coming up when it's, the team gets handed over to AD. What do you think? What do you think about the moves we made, Quincy?
Well, I think at some point, Rob Pelinka got word that Giannis was going to sign back, because you could tell up until this fall, right? You want to call it? We was pretty much setting our financial plan around the summer of 2021, because that was supposed to be a big free agent class. And I think, my theory is that because we got Giannis' brother on the team, that the agent at some point let Rob know that, hey, he's gonna take that Supermax. Yeah. And then I think the plan will always been, look, we want to give AD the longest contract as possible. But the fact that they went ahead and gave LeBron the extension lets me believe that he had already had some word that Giannis was going to stay. And for those that don't understand why I say that is because come free agency, the plan was to let LeBron become a free agent. Then you can use that cap space to sign another max player. Then you resign LeBron because you could go over the cap to sign your own free agent back. The fact that they signed LeBron now means we don't have that cap space anymore. So that's why I believe that he had some word that Giannis was more likely was going to sign back. I mean, but I still think that I mean, I remember I can't remember if it was D-Wade or LeBron telling the story, but they was telling the story how they were in a locker room in Miami, and they looked up when the Lakers gave Kobe that contract after his Achilles, and you remember everybody was criticizing the Lakers about they're saying we should have spent that money on Carmelo. We could have got LaMarcus Art. Like you remember that whole time. And D-Wade and LeBron was saying how when they saw that, they was like, that's how you take care of a player that took care of your franchise, that provided and gave his all for your franchise. And it's just crazy how after that conversation, after that interview, that it coming full circle. And here's the Lakers doing exactly to LeBron what impressed him and D-Wade when he was in Miami. So I just think part of it is LeBron, part of it is the Laker way. You provide chips, our chip, we take care of you. Also, I don't know if this nigga on steroids or what the hell going on, but to be 35, going on 36, and still be a top 5 player in the league is crazy. So it's like, it's not really a bad investment because the dude is still a top 5 player in the league.
Yeah.
Going on, he be 36 in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. So you lock that down, and it just completely, because I'm sure there's somebody else looking how the Lakers is taking care of LeBron, how the Lakers are taking care of AD, and that's always been a Laker way. We take care of those that come to the franchise and succeed. And not to get on Dwight, but what happened in 2013? Look, you didn't provide nothing. We don't go all out for you. That shit doesn't impress us. You provide a chip, all right? Hey, we'll take care of you. That's the Laker way.
Yeah. So I think I like those moves, and I think those were great moves, and I think what we did was secure the future. And I know a lot of people like to talk about the young core that we lost. But now I'm like, think about it. If you think about it, the young core we have now is AD, Schroeder, Trez possibly, but we don't know if he'll sign back. But just say.
Well, no, he's on a 2-year deal.
Yeah, so he's on a 2. So AD, Trez, Schroeder, and Kuz is your young core, and THT.
Is he on a 2-year? Is he on a 2 or 3 year deal? Is a 3rd year option?
I think 2nd year's option.
2nd year option?
Yeah.
Well, because I'm on my phone, so I can't check. But yeah, But so if you actually look how the contracts are set up, because LeBron contract is up 2 more years. Trez contract is 2 more years. So a lot of these contracts, I think Marc Gasol is 2 years. So even though we committed this money in 2 years, we'll still be in a situation if we need to add players or get somebody to go along with AD, we'll still be right there.
Yeah,
but I mean, Rob Pelinka took Danny Green's $15 million and turned it into Montrez and Wes Matthews. He didn't, but people say he didn't understand how the cap worked. You know what I mean? So, so I mean, you look at that. I mean, you got two good players, a good replacement for Danny Green and Wes Matthews, and a 6 Man of the Year winner, all with Danny Green's money.
Yeah,
so let me ask y'all this.
Just to back up your point, Dame, about the age, you got AD 27, I think Montrez is 27.
Yep.
Schroeder is 27. You got
Kuz is 25.
Kuz is 25. You got THT, who we probably going to talk about in a little bit.
Yeah, he's 20.
That's 20. So
Can't even drink yet.
Yeah, so I know they was in some violations on that championship. That nigga was drinking champagne. People thinking that nigga was 19 in there.
Okay, there go from Dominique. Davis 28, KCP 28. I didn't even realize KCP was that young. Trez 27, Caruso 27, Schroeder 28, Kuzma 26.
Yeah, like nobody's over 30.
That's crazy. So let me ask y'all this, because which young core would you rather have? Would you rather have the young core that we have now for the Lakers, or would you have the young core that the Pelicans have?
The young core, shit, Anthony Davis. Shit, I'm taking Anthony Davis over the entire young core, like we did. Like what the
Right.
I took Anthony over all of them, but now Anthony with Schroeder and THT and Kuz. Come on, man.
Look, I was taking it with Anthony Davis by himself. So I'm definitely gonna take it with Anthony Davis, and a dude that, two dudes that average 18, 19 off the bench. You got a 20-year-old that was a late second round that's playing like he was a fucking lottery pick last year.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. Let's talk about THT, man. Let's talk about the pleasant surprise of THT and Kuzma in the preseason. Because I see that Mars asked, are we still high on Kuz? So Mars, let me tell you, I am still high on Kuz for the same thing that I've been screaming for 3 years. Yeah, Larry Tucker is only 20 years old. The same thing I've been screaming for 3 years.
Just turned 20.
He just turned 20 like 2 weeks ago.
About 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. So when Kuz gets on the court and Kuz gets touches, Kuz gets his buckets. People say he's inconsistent, and I say, well, he's consistent when he gets time. It's like literally statistically proven that every time he gets consistent time, consistent starting minutes, consistent minutes, he has consistent scoring. It's when he's coming in off the second unit, when he's starting a little bit, when he's playing less minutes, when he's playing, that's when his play becomes inconsistent. So yes, I'm still high on Kuz, and I want to say this. Y'all watch out for Kuz and Gasol this year. Y'all watch out for the two-man game of Kuz and Gasol, because Kuz plays very well with Gasol when he's cutting off the ball, and I think Gasol is helping him, guiding him. Someone like, yo, cut over there, go. Like I've seen already, Gasol is kind of guiding him to where to go get the ball. So yes, I'm still high on Kuz. And also, me and Brandon were talking about this before we came on. I think the play of THT, which has been phenomenal, not just in the preseason, because of course you can say that's a small sample size, but what we saw in the damn playoffs, like what we saw in the playoffs last year, that coupled with what we see in this preseason and coupled with what all his teammates have been saying, leads me to believe he might be a star of the future, right? He might be somebody that's going to be part of that second wave with Anthony Davis after LeBron is gone. Because when LeBron leaves, check this out. When LeBron leaves, THT is going to be 24.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I mean, if LeBron ain't 40, averaging fucking 25 and 5,
Yeah.
I think LeBron on some shit.
Yeah.
But
so let me ask y'all this. Do y'all think the play of Taylor Horton Tucker is kind of pushing Kuz to play better this year? Because that's what it looks like to me. It looks like Kuz ain't the only young, you could be the third option on the team no more. And I think because of that, I've been seeing a difference in Kuz. What do y'all think?
I think to me, well, I think Kuz is motivated. It's a contract year. Like Anthony Davis said, like it's a contract year for him. So we still the issue with Kuz is, and Anthony Davis alluded to this as well, is his role has changed every year of his career.
Yeah.
When Kuz came in, it was, he didn't really have to. There wasn't no what I'm trying to say, no pecking order of who could score. It was like, look, out of UBI and Julius Randle, who won it? Yeah. So of course, Kuz was like, shit, I want it. Then LeBron came, Now it became a little bit of a pecking order because it was still LeBron. Then it was still kind of like, okay, Kuz, you and Bi, who won it?
Yeah, yeah.
And so, but then when AD came, and I think this is where fans and the media made the mistake. They set this up as a big three: LeBron, AD, and Kyle Kuzma. And so people expectations was as if we had a big three. Whereas AD and LeBron are legitimate top 5 players. That's a big three. Kyle Kuzma, who, I love Kuz, but Kuz is he's not a top 20 player.
Yeah.
He's not top 15, not top 10. So the fact that people hyped it as a big three, people expectations got unrealistic without looking at the full context that Kuz's role had changed every year he'd been in the league. Because we saw all-star players, Chris Bosh, Kevin Love. They talked about being the third best player on the LeBron James team.
Mm-hmm.
People forget Kevin Love went from averaging 26 to 16 a game. They both averaged 13 shots per game. Kuz shot attempts dropped to 11. So I don't know. Kuz ain't Shaq. He ain't gonna average 20 on 11 shots a game.
Right. Right.
that only Shaq do shit like that. Where Shaq had 12 shot attempts and he got 26. Cause shit out that 12, 10 is dunks.
Yeah.
But Kuz ain't like that. So like you said, when he get his shot attempts, because people are like, well, I can't believe y'all was comparing him to Jason Tatum and all that. Well, people forget what happened to Jason Tatum when he was the third option behind Haywood and Kyrie. People dropped off on him. He struggled.
Yeah.
So it was a blessing in disguise that Kyrie and Haywood got hurt, which allowed Jason Tatum could still blossom. Because last year when Kuz averaged 16 or more shots, like Jason Tatum, like Brandon Ingram, he averaged 25 a game.
Yeah.
Like Brandon said, as a starter, he averaged 21 a game as a starter. So the Kyle Kuzma that he was his rookie and second year is still there. The challenge is trying to be that when you got two stars like LeBron and AD, because people forget that nigga Glenn Rice won the championship and was out after that first 2000.
Yeah.
Because Glenn Rice didn't like that role. He hated that role. As much as he was perfect, Glenn Rice was ideal for that role, but he hated it because it's hard when this night you got 15 shots, and then the next night you got 12, and then the next night you got 6. But people expecting you to shoot 45%, no matter whether you get 8 shots, whether you get 12 shots, or whether you get 18 shots. But what folks not going to take in consideration, like to somebody like a scorer like a Kyle Kuzma or somebody, when you go 6-7 minutes without a shot, that completely throws you off. So
you're starting to look like baby Jesus, Quincy. The light is coming.
Yeah, we know it's almost Christmas.
The second coming.
He started glowing. The more you talk, he was glowing.
Nigga,
You just see the aura behind him.
The spirit of Kobe was coming behind, like yes.
He was like, oh yeah.
Kobe. So that's the thing with Kuz. The challenge for Kuz is still trying to be productive in that role, because folks forget that second year, as much as we talk about 2001, Rick Fox was our third leading scorer with 12 points a game.
Yep.
Because Shaq and Kobe took up so much of shot. So the thing with Kuz is, can he be satisfied? Which I doubt, because he's seeing all his boys get off and get paid. Can he be satisfied in that role and wait and be patient and wait for his time? Or is he going to get impatient and decide, hey, I got my ring. Hopefully I got my 2 rings. I want to go prove myself. I want to go average 22, 23 a game. Like he sees his boys, Spider Mitchell and Tatum and all of them, and get paid. And because to me, that's the challenge for any third out. When people be like, oh, the Lakers should get Bradley Beal. And I'm like, Bradley Beal ain't gonna get the same shot attempts. Is Bradley Beal gonna be okay with getting 15 shots a game?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You know, whoever come in that role got to be okay that, hey, you might get 9 shots tonight.
And are they going to be as effective? With 10
exactly.
shots.
Right.
That's the other thing. Like, are they going to be as effective with 9 or 10 shots?
But I think that's the challenge for Kuz. As far as THT, I think he's going to be up against the same challenge. Like at some point, because THT been balling, but you've been able to get up 17 shots.
Yeah, so I want to talk about that because that'll be the last thing we talk about before we get out of here and make our predictions for the season. What do you think will be the role of THT this season, and where do you see him going in our future? Where do you see in our future? Go ahead, B.
I think, like I said it earlier. I think early on the season we're gonna see a lot of THT because LeBron is not gonna play that many minutes. I expect LeBron to play between 26 to 32 minutes a night, depending on how we looking or whatever. I don't expect LeBron to play a lot of fourth quarter minutes. I don't expect LeBron to be late in games and stuff like that because he just even though he is still a top 5 player, we're about to be 36. He's been in the league. This is his 18th year now.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I think the young legs and THT is gonna come in handy, and we'll see him play that kind of the same role he's been playing through preseason. We'll see some big games. We'll see some learning curves, and later on in the season, I think that'll be great for when we make a playoff run. That he's seen those minutes early in the season, and then we'll see the benefits of that when it comes time to get into those playoff series because he played a bigger role.
What about you, Q? What role do you see THT having this season?
I think that his role, like Brandon said, with LeBron not going to play a lot in the first half of the season, he definitely going to have a lot of opportunity to continue to get better and get more experience. I think his role is simple because people think he's in competition with Kuz. I think Kuz he's gonna come in for the 3 and the 4. I think THT is gonna come in for the 1 or the 2. Because so far this preseason he didn't play. They played him at point guard. They played him at the 2. But I think there will be time for him. Why? Because he's our only 2 guard that can create his own shot.
Yeah.
KCP can't create his own shot.
Yeah.
Wes Matthews can't create his own shot. Caruso can't create his own shot. He's the only 2 that you can say, hey, So when you ask what's his role, I think his role is the role that we thought Deion Raiders was going to be. So look, we need somebody to be out there that's going to go get buckets, and I think that by him being the only 2 guard that can really go get buckets, I think what Vogel going to do.
Damn, what is he going to do? What is Vogel going to do? What is Vogel going to do?
I think what Vogel going to do is, if he's hot and he's playing well, he's going to leave him out there. I mean, that's kind of how he played it last year. Because I mean, we remember how Rondo played in the playoff, but you remember Rondo wasn't closing a lot of games because Rondo was tricking shit off at times. So that's how Caruso ended up starting getting time because Rondo was tripping on defense, and so we had to close a lot of games with KCP and Caruso. So that's the thing with Vogel. He's not afraid to go with the hot hand. So I think if THT is going, I think Vogel will play him. The thing that my biggest concern though is Schroeder. I'll be honest with you, because if that's somebody time who THT, because see, I don't think KCP would mind. I don't think Wes Matthews would mind. I don't think Caruso would mind. But I think if THT cut into some of Schroeder's time,
it's gonna be a problem.
The way how he had already came off feeling like he deserved to start, I think that might be a problem.
So this is what I see from THT this season. I think Vogel because we got such a smart coaching staff. Shout out to them. We got such a smart coaching staff. I think Vogel and the guys are going to let THT wreak havoc on other second units. Mm-hmm. Because he plays the way he does and because he could be a starter somewhere, he's going to wreak havoc on second units, which is also going to open up the game for Kuz, which is also going to open up the game for Trez in that second unit. And because the things that he do, because he can get into the teeth of the defense, like you said, he's the only one who can go get buckets, but that also means he's the only one that's going to have people collapse on him once AD and LeBron aren't on the court. Like he's the only one that will draw that double team, draw that collapse in the lane. Not only will that be good for his confidence, like letting him wreak havoc on them second units, that's going to be great for his confidence going forward. And it's also going to be just great for, like you said, his, him getting better as the season goes, going to get more of that time. I don't know if y'all saw, but what's his name? Tony Allen told the story.
Yeah, I posted that.
Yeah, where he was like playing in the G League. He like, I ain't even supposed to be out here. So he already got the confidence. Like he know what it is. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I see THT.
Well, man, he got. I mean, we already. I mean, that's kind of like why we fell in love with Kuz, because when Kuz was in summer league and all that, he came off like I know y'all got Zoe, y'all got Bi, but I'm the best young player out of all of them.
Right.
And to be that young and a Laker, you almost got to be. That's how Kobe was.
Yeah,
you almost you have to be that way, because LA would eat your ass alive if you come in here with any type of insecurities. It's gonna tear you up.
Yeah.
But then also I think what have THT is, because people are like, oh, he's better than Kuz, he's better than this person. Very few people already come in the league with a man body.
Yeah.
This nigga is 235 at 6'4".
With a 7-foot
wingspan. So he already coming in. Like, I forgot who it was, and he bullied it. I said, damn, he moved that dude like I mean, so he already, because most 19 and 20-year-olds gotta bulk up. They need like they first 2-3 years.
He had to lose weight. Remember, he had to lose weight because he came in out of shape because his foot was hurt.
Yeah, so he already like 235
and got post game.
Yeah, I mean, you built like a fucking linebacker. You should be like, there's linebackers in the league at 6'4", 235.
Right.
so he already had the physical attributes, because think about it. The first thing young players struggle with is how strong you got to be in the NBA. They be getting punked.
Yeah.
I mean, remember we talked about that with Bi. We talked about that with Zoe. With every young player, even Kobe. Kobe had to bulk up. Actually, that's when Kobe started beasting. Kobe came back bulked up. That was it. But the fact that this dude just turned 22 weeks ago and he already
got his man body, got his grown
man body.
Yeah.
Now at this point, it's just the experience and him just continue to work on his skill set. Because I mean, to take the ball from Kawhi, you got to be a strong dude.
Yeah, you do. Them big ass claws, them big ass arms. All right, so before we get out of here, we got 2 minutes left before the show is over. Damn, that 45 minutes went quick, yo.
Right.
What's y'all predictions for the season going forward? What's y'all prediction for the season? What's y'all prediction for the playoffs? Early prediction, so we can come back to it at the end of the year. Let's go.
Like record wise or predictions?
Yeah,
like
record wise.
Gonna be?
Yeah.
I know it's 72 games this season, so it's not 82, not a regular 82 game season. I think the Lakers are going to coast a little bit. I don't see us getting the number 1 seed. I see us probably getting like a top 4 seed, obviously maybe like 2 or 3. And a team that's more hungry, maybe come back like Denver or something. I don't know the exact record, but I see us as being in the middle, some like top tier, but not number 1 overall seed.
What about you, Q? What you think?
I still think we're going to be the number 1 seed for what we spoke about is our depth. I don't like it's hard. I think we win. Well, we playing 72 games.
Mm-hmm.
I think they might. I can see us losing like 15, 16 games.
I I think that's my prediction too. Like losing 15-16 game.
I can see us losing 15-16 games.
16?
Yeah, I actually think they're gonna be more motivated because people are being disrespectful towards their championship.
Yeah.
So I almost feel like they gotta win this one to validate. It's kind of remind me with Kobe. You remember niggas wouldn't even acknowledge Kobe had 3 championships.
Yeah.
He was like, well, he got to win one without like, dude, he already got 3. Well, Kobe got to win one. What you mean? Nigga could win 3 in a row.
Yep.
But then when he won one without Shaq, it was like, oh, he's a 4-time champion.
Yep.
So I think that they're gonna be hungry. I still think the Clippers is our biggest threat. I know a lot of people are down on the Clippers, but I still think the Clippers are our biggest threat. I wouldn't sleep on as far as anybody else. I know people are excited about Denver. I think Denver be good, but I think losing Jeremy Grant is going to hurt them.
Yeah,
I think people overlook that move. With
I
them losing.
think they're more comfortable letting Jeremy Grant go because me and you both and Dame said Michael Porter Jr. is on the way. So I feel like they were like, you know what?
And the person I wanted us to get last year, Bobo. That motherfucker is
Bobo, yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking we got them.
Yeah. But
I think we got Portland number, Mars. I think we got Portland number.
No,
I think out east, our biggest threat out east would be Philly, but they got Doc Rivers.
Yeah. No. Portland,
Brooklyn's the east.
Brooklyn. My bad. I forgot about Brooklyn.
The reason why I still say the Clippers because they still have the bodies to put on LeBron.
Yeah.
They don't have people that can stop LeBron, but if you can make LeBron work, they could put PG on him, they could put Kawhi on him, they could put Marcus Morris on them. They still got solid defenders, multiple solid defenders that they could put on him to make him work. And then concede, okay, AD that's gonna be what it is. But what teams are gonna do, and like we kept on saying it last year, because it got to a point where AD had 3 people on him, and teams was just pretty much playing LeBron one-on-one. And we kept on saying, hey, LeBron, like, you can't be like, because you remember LeBron would get like 12 points. He had like 13 to say, but we was like, you gotta make these motherfuckers pay for playing you one-on-one.
Yep.
And so I think the Clippers have the bodies to put on LeBron that even if they play him one-on-one, they're gonna make him work. Now, the issue is with the Clippers at some point, if LeBron starts to win those one-on-one matches and you doubling AD, we got shooters.
Yeah.
And that's why I still think we're better than the Clippers, but I still think they're our biggest threat. I don't think Denver is a threat because we're going to put AD on Jokic. And any team that could play Denver straight up without double teaming Jokic will beat them.
Yeah.
And then for some reason, I don't know, Portland, the same thing that happened in the bubble, like, you know, just like what I just said about LeBron, we got the bodies to put on Dame Lillard. We're not gonna stop him, but we definitely got people that's gonna make his ass work. And I think even Schroeder gonna make him play deep. He got to play defense on Schroeder.
And like you said, we could play them straight up as well. That's another team we could just play straight up. And when you don't have to double Dame, CJ McCollum don't get off the way he usually does. When you don't have to double Dame.
Exactly.
They become like he becomes very pedestrian when Dame Lillard isn't being double teamed.
Yeah, because the job Caruso did on Lillard, and then you know that allowed us to play, like you said, that allowed us to play CJ straight up. I think the sleeper team in the West is the team we played last night, the Phoenix.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's going to be a good team, man. As they come together, they come into their own. I think them, and I think people forgot about Memphis. Memphis is going to be better this season. The West is going to be a little beastly. The West is going to be a little beastly this year.
The reason why I'm not too high,
Pelicans, Golden
it's going to be
State.
A dogfight. It's going to be dogfights all season.
Yeah, that's the West every year. The reason why I'm not too worried about Brooklyn as much as some folks, because I still think that in the end, they have no defensive stopper.
Mm.
Like who is like you gonna put that person on somebody to stop that player. Because Nash gonna play KD more big, that's fine. But we could put AD out on KD and let that battle go. But KD still gonna have to deal with AD in the post, which I don't think he want no parts of.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the Kyrie don't guard nobody. I mean,
Yeah.
he gonna do all that shit, burn sage and give weird comments and all that shit. But did you hear about that shit last night?
Yeah, I think they have a weird team. So I'm just gonna be interested before I even predict on what Brooklyn gonna do. I'm interested to see what they can do chemistry wise, just because Kyrie and KD are so volatile when it comes to chemistry and the way they think about themselves. So it's gonna be interesting to see how they mesh.
Well, it goes back. I think they're gonna have the same problem with the Clippers. Like, who is the leader in that locker room?
Yeah.
Because as we saw, like, you can have all the talent in the horses, but if you got poor leadership, which we found out Houston didn't have, that fool James Harden was doing all type of wild shit. Poor leadership, that shit shows in the playoffs. Like, who's gonna be like who's gonna be the leader? Because KD never been a leader.
Mm-hmm.
Kyrie thinks he's a leader, but he's not.
Yeah. So, and that's why I say that's the problem. That's why I say it's going to be. I want to see what they do, because the way KD, to me, it's not even about talent for Brooklyn. It's about the mental of KD and Kyrie.
Dealing with the New York media too. That's why I was like, dude, if they get James Harden, that shit gonna be a mess.
Oh yeah.
Because they will lose their depth to get Harden, and now that you got somebody else who don't play defense.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do. I want to go back to Mark's question. He said, "Does Michael Porter Jr.'s confidence remind y'all of a young Kobe?" It does for me, because what he came in and did in the playoffs, and no fear at all, and he got a quick trigger. Like, his shot is like he shoot with anybody in his face. He was trying to take anybody to the rack. Now, he don't have the same skill as Kobe, but that confidence, yes, I can see that. Mar said, "Was DeAndre a leader in the locker room when he was a Clipper?" I don't think so.
Hell no, that team imploded.
I'm gonna say that team had hella locker room issues. It's supposed to be Chris Paul, but nobody liked the leader. So
yeah, nobody liked the leader.
Yeah,
that shit imploded. Because Jared Dudley was talking about that team. I forgot Jared Dudley was on that Clipper team.
Me too.
Yeah, he was like, no, he's like, it was a mess there too. He said because he was saying that him and Doc Rivers had their issues, because he was like, he would tell Doc like, hey. And Doc, he said, but when because he was talking about when Paul George blamed Doc Rivers for that 3-1 loss. And he's like, no, just like it was our fault we lost that 3-1. It's their fault. It was the players' fault. It's like, you can't blame that on Doc Rivers.
Well, and it's again, that goes to, like, I know you say Clippers are our biggest threat, but it's just going to be interesting to see how they fix that issue. Is it going to be Serge Ibaka going to be the locker room leader? Like, who's going to be the leader on the floor for that team? Because I think they still lacking in that department. If they still lacking in that department, I think it's still gonna rear its head in the playoffs.
Yeah, because PG I think Lou Williams they're gonna have to trade Lou Williams, because apparently Lou Williams, the two people that complained most about PG was Lou Will and Montrezl.
Right.
So with them committing that much money to PG, I think Lou Will probably gonna be on his way out too.
Yeah.
Which is perfectly fine.
What can Ty Lue do that's different from what Doc Rivers was doing? Like, what's gonna be the change in leadership there as far as coaching goes?
I heard last night that because I was watching the Clippers Jazz game, that the players were happy that the defense was less sophisticated, which says a lot.
Talking about the Clipper players are happy that the defense is less sophisticated, but ain't that what they supposed to be hanging their hat on?
Yeah, they feel Tyronn Lue has made the defense more simplified for the players to understand and get. So There you go.
Okay, so it's some things to keep your eye on, man. It's
He
some
had
things-
to dummy it down. He had to Tyronn Lue dummy it down for him. So
That's crazy.
I'm gonna say,
hey,
but
real quick, Dame. Let me ask y'all a question real quick. Okay, so we talked earlier about like some of the teams in the West that's going to be better next year. Do you think that teams that you know when they play the defending champ, you get their best game? Do you think that will get some more L's from that, from the Memphises of the world, the New Orleans, the Phoenix Suns, the teams that are really trying to? That's their biggest game of the night was when the Lakers come to town. Or do you think we just have so much depth this year that we overcome those teams that are trying to, because every night you're not gonna get our best game, but do you think that has anything to do with our record?
I think this goes to what you said earlier, Brandon. I think it's going to be a little bit of both, right? I think we're going to get the best of them, but we also brought in guys who ain't won a championship yet, and those guys are still hungry. So I think those guys you talked about, Brandon, I think they help keep that hunger on those nights. Because one thing we saw last season, a lot of those games we would have lost last season, we were winning in the fourth quarter, and we were playing the right way. And we even won some of those games that we didn't play that well. We won some of those games just because we had a more talented team. This team is more talented than that team from last year. And they got championship pedigree, and we got some hungry guys that's here. So even on those nights where, our superstars probably don't feel like it, you're going to get a Wes Matthews, you're going to get a THT, you're going to get like people who get a chance to shine, who are going to come out and try to shine. So I think that's going to be the difference.
I think sometimes we get too caught up in
I like to talk about prediction and say we're going to be number one overall seed now.
The Athletic got us as the 4th seed. And then Sports Illustrated and GMs got AD the 7th best player in the NBA.
What 7 players are better than AD?
I don't even want to talk about it.
What 7? Y'all tell me there's 6 players better than AD right now in the NBA?
According to Sports Illustrated and the GMs. I don't tell you got to look at. I don't want to talk about it. Then you have Schroeder in the contract year. You got Kuzma in the contract year. Montrezl feel like he got something to prove because for some reason Clippers fans just want to blame the fucking 3-1 blown lead on him.
On Trez now.
Yeah. Like fuck what PG and Kawhi did in game 2.
It was Trez.
Game 7. It was Montrezl's fault.
Yeah, that shit weird to me.
You got THT who want to prove he belongs in the league. And then you still got LeBron, where people are like waiting for him to fall off. Like every year, it's like this is gonna be it. He's gonna fall. So I still think we have motivation. And then, like I said, people disrespecting the championship. As far as getting players, teams' best games, it has always been like that. You saw how hard niggas was cheering and celebrating to beat Julius Randle and D'Angelo Russell and Lonzo Ball. Like we was winning 35 games, like the crowd, it was confetti and shit, and we was a lottery team. So I think players are used to it. I think LeBron definitely is used to it because everybody want to beat him when he come in town. So I'm not too worried about that. But I think our side we have just as much motivation to go out there and beat teams as they have to beat us.
Yeah, that's what I agree. That's what I said. I think you're gonna see a good year. We feel like our team feels like they have a whole lot to prove, and I think you're gonna see a lot of that play itself out, throughout the season. I'm trying to find who the top.
See, I'm doing it from my phone. I'm doing the show from my because normally.
No. I'm looking now. I'm trying to see. I'm trying to look for that now.
Yeah. They had AD number 7.
No way, man.
Yeah.
I
heard it was disrespectful because he was number 6 last year. So I said, AD is the new Kobe.
All right, here we go. Number 10, Joel Embiid. Number 9, Luka Doncic. Number 8, Jokic. Number 7, Anthony Davis. Number 6, Kevin Durant. Okay, I won't be mad at that. Steph Curry, no. James Harden, come on, man. Kawhi Leonard. Giannis is 2 still. And LeBron. Yo, they be drinking the shit out of the Kool-Aid on Giannis, man.
Yeah.
Hey, do you see why I'll be saying, and they be drinking the shit out of Kool-Aid from Steph? I don't give a fuck. You know how I am about Steph, bro.
You know what? I don't think right now. I don't think KD better than AD.
Right now, no. Right now at this moment, no.
I don't. I mean, probably before, but not right now.
That hell no.
To me, Anthony Davis is the second best player in the league.
Yeah.
I mean, at first, I know last year I said Kawhi, but after, I could only deny LeBron so much. Like, I'm not like some niggas where I'm just not. Look, at some point, when you still doing it like this at 35, I gotta give it to you. Yeah, I gotta give it. That nigga the best player in the league, especially that game 6 against Miami. I was like, this motherfucker is like. Although we lost that game, but him and Jimmy Butler, when he was battling Jimmy Butler, I was like, yeah, I got to give it to him, But there's not. I'm tell you the truth, if you could take one player to build your team around right now in the league, one player, you can only pick one. Who you picking?
I'm picking AD.
Exactly.
I'm picking AD. I'm not building around Steph Curry right now. I'm not building around KD coming off an injury.
Only player you can make an argument for is Luka Doncic because he's a little bit younger. But other than that, it's AD.
Luka, and they got him, because I wouldn't build it around James Harden because he's a one-way player. I wouldn't build it around Kawhi only because, to me, as good as Kawhi is on the court, I just don't think he has all the intangibles. Because somebody said the championships he won, he wasn't the leader on the team, and he wasn't, he wasn't the main cog the whole time, right? Like in Toronto, nobody expected them guys to win, and they won against a super beat up Golden State team. But when he had to pull it all together himself as the guy with the Clippers, I was severely disappointed in not only his play. I was disappointed in the whole team's play. I was disappointed,
Well, I think his lack of leadership definitely got exposed last season. But
because
Kyle Lowry was the leader in Toronto, right?
Yeah, and we know he wasn't the leader on the Spurs. But the thing with AD and Giannis, people look, we seen teams do the defense on the Lakers last year that teams do to Giannis. And because AD mid-range game, because he able to shoot threes, that shit didn't work. Teams play Giannis the same way every year. They play Giannis the same way every year. They're gonna sag back into the paint, dare him to shoot 15, 20-footers. He don't make that shit. They cut off all his driving lanes and pretty much build a wall around the paint and don't allow him to drive, and that's it.
If I got to pick between AD and Giannis, I'm picking AD 10 times out of 10.
Well, I think last year it showed what AD is way more skilled than Giannis.
Yeah.
Way more skilled. Like in the fact that he's starting to work the mid-range, because you remember we kept on saying, look, don't worry about it. Start 10 ass up in that mid-range game. Once he started doing that, it was a wrap.
He's unstoppable. He became unstoppable.
And now he just shooting
That's
threes.
why I was so mad when somebody said in the group that AD can't shoot from the mid-range or he's unreliable from mid-range.
Yeah.
I mean, I know there's like a lot of Laker fans don't watch Laker games. like really, I think people look at stat sheets and they watch highlights, and they just go with whatever the fuck they don't go with, because it be some way out stuff. Because someone said AD not the player, not the defensive player Giannis is, and like just on pure stacks, what is it? He had like 80 more steals than Giannis. It was some wild shit, like 80 more steals, 4 more block shots. And that's not even talk about how we saw him literally guard 1 through 5 last year.
Yeah.
AD literally guarded 1 through 5 last year. Shit, he guarded Jamal Murray. He guarded Jokic. He guarded 1 through 5 last year and did a damn good job.
Yeah.
And then he more skilled. So I don't know which, and then when you look at, Giannis is a good player, but dude, when you play Chicago 4 times, you got Detroit 4 times. Who else in that trash ass division? Cleveland.
Yeah.
So he got Cleveland, Detroit, and Chicago 16 times. Who else over there? Indiana?
Yeah.
Okay. Indiana is good. So we got
Atlanta.
But for sure in his own division, that's 16 games right there. No,
Yeah.
that's 12.
Yeah.
12. Detroit, Chicago, and Cleveland. So that's 12 games right there. He getting stats.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then when you add the Atlanta, that's 16. Who else over there? Shit.
Orlando
stats. The Knicks. He got the Knicks stats.
Yeah.
The Knicks.
Yeah.
Like he got about at least 25
games of just racking up on niggas.
Just stats.
1/3 of his season is just racking up. Is just stat padding.
Yeah. Just that shit. AD, fucking New Orleans a handful, and they was the 12th seed.
Right.
New Orleans a straight handful. Shit, Washington stats. It's a whole bunch of teams over there. He just gets stats. So then when he played Boston, Philly, or Toronto, he get exposed. Everybody's surprised. Like, no, you got to kind of look at what he do against them versus what he do against Detroit,
Cleveland
and Cleveland and Chicago 12 times a season.
Yeah,
because we saw like the Clippers. The Clippers pretty much went zone on AD ass.
Yeah.
It was like, we not playing him 1-on-1. We gonna zone.
They had a double team zone on his ass the whole game. Had him have one man on him and a shadow right there behind him. But shit, on that note, that was a great preview of the season. Looking forward to it. Thanks everybody who was watching. Thank you everybody in the comments for watching Worldwide Laker Talk with B Red and Quincy. We will be back soon. We'll be back probably after opening night because we got to give it up for ring night. So, we'll be back. Y'all going to start to see us a little more because the season's starting up. We got things to talk about, shows, and just keep an eye on the trade deadline is in March now. So we're going to see what, they do with James Harden between now and March 25th because whatever team he goes to, I think he's going to mess it up because somebody was like, oh, they talking about sending like a Miami Heat fan was like, they talking about sending to Miami. I'm like, y'all don't want James Harden. Man. I'm like, he's the antithesis of everything that makes y'all team dope.
What? Antithesis? Hey, damn, you a school word.
Yeah. hey, but check this out. What I don't see, what other style can he play in?
Yeah.
Like, I don't see I think he can only play one style. That was think about it. This nigga went through Dwight Howard, CP3, and Westbrook, and it's all their fault. Right. It's all their fault.
Had all of them in a prime and shit.
Yeah, it's all their fault though.
Yeah, I don't know, Mars. I don't know where Harden gonna end up because, like Quincy said, I don't see where that game. Yeah, where that game gonna work.
He going to Philly.
I think he is too.
Yeah. He going to Philly for it's gonna be something with Ben Simmons, but I think he's gonna go to Philly.
So get ready, he about to come fuck your team up. All right, thank everybody for watching Worldwide Laker Talk. We'll see y'all next time. Thank y'all for joining us, man. It's been great.
Wild bunch, we go hard. We go hard while we do this song, and we pray that everybody here can sing along. Belong right, y'all. Right, y'all. Belong to kill y'all. Belong right, y'all. We go hard while we do this song, and we pray that everybody here can sing along. Belong right, y'all. Belong right, y'all. Belong right, y'all. I'm from the place where we know how to win, where we tear dynasties down and build them back again. In other words, we don't know how to lose. Here's a nice pack for those whose niggas I'm about to prove. Sorry, you choose to cruise through your career, but I choose to go hard to ensure I stay here. So don't be mad, cause I got a little more than you. Attribute that to the fact I work more than you. Running around town saying this and that. How we sound like the Roots, and our music is whack. Just because I don't backpack and talk about bustin' with Max and flipping birds, I'm still about my style. We grew up in the hood, but chosen of the path where it's grip the blood or you slang the bud. But we chose another point of view to perpetuate while some of y'all is real thugs, a lot of y'all perpetrate. We go hard while we do this song, and we pray that everybody ain't sing along. Belong, break y'all, belong, break y'all, belong, break y'all. We go hard while we do this song, and we pray that everybody ain't sing along. Belong, break y'all, belong, break y'all, belong, break y'all. We jump start like the beat of your heart. Microphones they be giving and we rip them apart. Leave a mark, they closing the case if need be. Who winning the race is Dub B. Not kicking curves, but I'm spitting the words. Living in this cold world got me flipping the bird.